Alright, hey there everyone, and hey there everyone, welcome to my coverage of the Dino Social Media Meetup at the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County. It was basically a special event for bloggers, Facebook users, Twitter users, basically a sneak peek of the new Dinosaur Hall that they got opening on July 16th, and it originally meant to get a whole bunch of footage of that, showing you around and explaining a lot of the specimens, but I just didn't get time for that. It was only an hour and a half long, and that is just not enough time for someone like me, especially when I'm scurrying around trying to get interviews from many of the personnel there, and God, I had so little time left, like 10-15 minutes after I collected a bunch of interviews, that I was running around like a chicken with my head cut off trying to get pictures, and so I didn't really get to enjoy the exhibit, but because I'd already gotten a ticket for the 16th, so I could just go back and enjoy it then. And because I didn't really get time to show you stuff on video, I'm going to be taking a bit of a different approach with this video, mainly using pictures, and you'll see me in the little corner explaining everything, and we'll see how that works. And of course, this is obviously going to be intersect with some of the footage I had shot then, what little footage I'd shot then. So let's start off with how I started off. Alright, hey there every peoples. I'm here at the Natural History Museum of Los Angeles County for the Dinosaur Social Meetup. And what that is, it's basically a sneak preview of the new Dinosaur Halls for bloggers, Facebook users, and Twitter users. And because I blog about this stuff and make videos about it, they picked me. And I got here about 6, so I got about 20, it took me about 10 minutes to walk here, so I got about 20 minutes to kill. What am I gonna do? Well, I got my Salvinelli, and I got you people to talk to. Alright, so anyway, well, first off, trying to find a place to park was my email told me that they told me that lot 3 would be open for parking, but I went around lot 3 about 3 times. All the entrances are gated, shut, and locked up, so I had to go park over in lot 2. Let's hope I don't get towed. And so anyway, about the Dinosaur Hall, get that out of the way so that we can focus on the stuff inside. Basically, these new Dinosaur Halls are part of a massive renovation of the museum in anticipation of its centennial in 2013. How big? Something in the neighborhood of $140 million. God, if I had that kind of money, I'd have no trouble getting my museum started. And anyway, so the Dinosaur Institute, a subdivision of the paleontology department, has spent the last, 5-10 years going out to Utah, Montana, Wyoming, other places, looking for specimens for these new halls. Very busy. And I say it's about time. I thought their previous Dinosaur Halls were pitiful, rather. I mean, yeah, it was the biggest display of dinosaurs on the West Coast, but seriously though, I mean, they were dark, they didn't have a lot of original fossil material on display, like a bunch of skeletons, but again, just not a lot of that, raw fossil material. So, yeah, obviously this has been a long time coming, and sorry about the shaky camera work, but, it's just, I gotta do it with my arm, because I got no one else to do it. Aaron is probably too busy to ask if he wanted to come. Could have been my cameraman. And so, what has the museum found for their exhibit here? Well, they found a bunch of bones of Triceratops. We'll see that later. They found one of their crown jewels, Thomas the T-Rex. It was a 30-foot-long, 17-year-old T-Rex. Part of the world's only T-Rex growth series, because the museum has a couple other T-Rex specimens that were previously misidentified as different species, but then it was found out that they were young T-Rexes. One was a 13-year-old juvenile, and then the other was a 2-year-old. It's the youngest T-Rex known in the world. And again, we'll see all that. They found a bunch of dinosaur tracks, just a bunch of other bones to stick in the exhibit. You know, lots of good stuff. Also, a lot of existing mounts will return. For example, Carnotaurus. You know, we all love that guy. If you've ever seen the movie Dinosaur, that was the meat eater with the horns on his head. Also, their Mamentosaurus skeleton is returning. If you don't know, Mamentosaurus is a sauropod dinosaur, long-necked dinosaur from China, the Jurassic of China. And last I checked, it holds the record for longest dinosaur neck, also longest neck ever. Comprises half the animal's body length. That's really all I can say. I mean, there's all sorts of new stuff, like they said. Oh yeah, a couple of their marine specimens are returning, like a plesiosaur called Marinosaurus, found in the Pinochet Hills of Fresno County. I hope I can go there someday. What else to talk about this new hall? I don't know. They claim it's going to be the biggest display of dinosaurs on the West Coast. Though I'd argue that it's only going to be one of the few, dinosaur displays on the West Coast. Really, the only places I can name where you can kind of see anything resembling a large-scale dinosaur exhibit would be here, San Diego Natural History Museum, the Cretaceous section of their Fossil Mysteries exhibit. The Raymond Alf Museum, they had that little section with dinosaurs in it. This Sierra College Natural History Museum up in Rockland, they have a bunch of dinosaur specimens on display from Montana, Utah, and even one from California, little Hypsilophodont foot that was found up there in Northern California, little late Cretaceous two-legged plant eater. And then finally, the Burke Museum in Seattle, Washington. They have, it's called Dinosaur Times. It's basically a section of their Life and Times of Washington State exhibit. And those are really the only two places I can think of. Those are really the few places I can think of on the West Coast that displays dinosaurs, or like I said, has anything resembling a large-scale dinosaur display. I mean, obviously you could find large-scale dinosaur displays out in Montana and Utah, Colorado, also New Mexico, where dinosaurs have been found. It seems like any place east of Utah doesn't really have any. There are a few places west of Utah that have any large-scale dinosaur exhibits, and again, this place will be the biggest. And I again apologize for my shoddy camera work. I'm trying to be host, cameraman, and producer all at the same time. Not easy, turns out. And so, I mean, the situation with the few dinosaur halls being on the West Coast, I hope to change that if I can ever get my museum off the ground. Just go visit my blog at accpaleo.wordpress.com and go to the Grand Vision page if you're interested in hearing about my foolhardy quest to open a museum on the Central Coast up in San Luis Obispo. Good stuff, I promise. I guess. Not really. Because, I mean, obviously such a venture wouldn't be easy. This museum here has been in business since 1913. That obviously gave them a lot of time, to accumulate specimens. And like I said, the last 5-10 years, the museum's curator of dinosaurs, Dr. Louis Chiappi, has been very busy finding fossils in the American West, Argentina, China, type of thing. My little museum would probably be lucky to even go out in dinosaur country, if we could ever get out of California. But, that all depends on funding, organization. I'm still trying to figure out how to start accumulating such skills and whatnot. But, yeah, until then, this and the few other museums with dinosaurs on the West Coast will have to do for now. But, you know, I'm still excited for this one. I mean, I get a sneak peek. I don't have to deal with all the screaming school children and crowds and whatnot, as I would have if I came here on opening day like I'd originally planned. And that's really all I can think of to say, so enough jibber-jabbering about the Dinosaur Hall. Let's go actually see it. Well, you can disregard that whole bit about the parking. 10 minutes before we were supposed to check in, parking lot 3 had opened up, so I quickly ran back, got my car, and moved it over. I just wish it had been open sooner, but I've never been in the museum under special circumstances like this before. It's always been during, you know, their open hours, and though I didn't have to pay $8 for parking like I normally do, that was nice. And so basically, you know, I just went inside, had some refreshments. You know, I just had water because it was so hot outside and I was sweating profusely from my run to my car and back. And anyway, I was too busy taking pictures to get video of Dr. Louis Chiappi's little speech about the new hall. So you'll just have to settle for him answering questions. Alright folks, I am in. Just having a little water. I swear it's like 80 degrees outside and, you know, still sweating profusely. But anyway, I guess we're just waiting to get started. Just have some refreshments first. You can see the dinosaurs there. For a while, that was actually the museum's dinosaur display. It was those 2 skeletons that greet you as you enter the museum. But we're going to go check out something that's like 10, 20 times that size, so stay tuned.
You can breathe for both of us.
It's supposed to be like a
Here we go. This is the lifeblood of the event.
Like a pod that filled it.
Guys serving drinks.
Yeah, no, I know. I just wanted to fill them up all the way. Just the glass is half full, so we'll go.
Keep at it, boys.
Build our collection and produce public programs like the one you're about to see.
Why did you so neat? Even the T-Rex with 3 different, you know, ages. So that was just a coincidence that really came together.
Well, of course, that's the exhibit selection of specimens, but that builds on specimens that have been collected over 40 years in that case, because 2 of them were collected in the 60s, 1 of them was collected just a few years ago.
Were they all fairly complete then?
No. Thomas, the one we collected a few years ago, it is maybe about 2/3, and that's remarkable already. The others are less complete, maybe in the range of 20-25%. But they're still important because they're young and young T-Rex specimens are rare.
Yeah. Okay. Well, sorry. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I hope the kids enjoy it too.
I know they will.
We determine the age of the dinosaurs by looking at histological sections. So you cut the bone. The bone tissue is well preserved, and then by studying, pretty much always, by studying slices, paper-thin slices of bone tissue, you can learn about growth patterns. Sometimes some dinosaurs laid growth rings, and that allows you to get a better, more accurate estimate of the age at which they died. But even if they did not lay growth rings, at least you can determine whether it was an immature, whether it was a full-grown.
So it's was it within like 5-10 years, or
the age that you can provide. It is always a range, and as you can imagine, because not all the growth rings are not complete. You don't have a complete record of the life of the animal. Bone is a very plastic, dynamic tissue that gets redeposited, and so normally you may provide a range within 4 or 5 years. So it may say, well, could have been 10, could have been 15, but it's not 40, or 100 or 2.
This. There's a
Science in action.
Excuse me.